Hi guys, how are you? Molly here, Masters in Clinical Nutrition, YouTube channel Molly Knows. How are you? Tonight, I said I was gonna do it, okay? So I am making bourbon apple cobbler, all right? I am following Tyler Florence's recipe, so believe me, I give him all the credit. The only thing that I'm changing is the fact that he uses peaches, okay? Because this is like his summer dish. And I actually changed it to apples. And I believe always baking with Granny Smith apples is the best. Granny Smith have that tart taste and that tangy taste. So I think it's awesome. It adds for so much flavor. All right, guys, so let's get to it. Here are my ingredients, okay? We're gonna have, I am doing gluten-free flour, Bob's Red Mill. I have 8 apples, 3 different varieties peeled, okay? That's Honeycrisp. That's Granny Smith, and then that's Pink Lady. Good old Jack Daniels, okay? Sugar, it's organic. Stonyfield heavy cream, salt, cinnamon, cornstarch, baking powder, and butter. And honestly, yes, I am using sugar because I have tried this recipe before with applesauce or other sugar substitutes. And I don't know, for some reason, it just does not work out. I think sometimes baking, you have to be, precise. You have to make sure you have things, as they are on the recipe, or your amounts or your ratios, they have to agree. Anywho, so I am using sugar. So let's get to it, okay? So here are my apples. Like I said, my oven is set to, I'm just cutting my apples in not really bite size, but I don't know, maybe bite size, not bite size, but I'm just cutting the apples into nice sized pieces. The oven is set at 375. I hope you guys are doing good today. I'm doing good. I can definitely feel the heat of Thanksgiving. Things are getting chaotic. I don't know, even my kids are getting antsy. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are having people over or if you're going to somebody's house. It's always fun cooking, but man, it's a lot of work. But it's good. It's good because my food is the best and I love it, and I think everybody who's coming, I think they enjoy it too. So yeah, so I love this dish. It's so fun to make. It's so important to use different types of apples. There's so many varieties of apples, right? On the market. It's how do you know which one to choose? There's so many. But I will say, never, ever, ever am I ever going to bake. You will never find me baking with a Red Delicious apple. I don't know, Red Delicious, there's something about them. I can remember growing up, my dad used to eat Red Delicious apples a lot. By the way, this is probably 8 apples, okay? The recipe calls for, how many apples? Yeah, I think 8. So we have to make sure it's 6 to 8 cups. Yeah, but I was saying I remember when I was little, my dad used to just sit there and eat Red Delicious apples. And he gave me a taste sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, how can he eat this? And then my mom introduced me to Granny Smith, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my jam. This is way better. Even at the nutritional store I used to work at, there were so many different things I learned, but I don't know, apples. That's where I came in contact with Pink Lady and Honeycrisp. Those ones are slamming too. So yeah, maybe I peeled too many apples up. Maybe not. I always make a big cobbler. I think these ingredients are pretty similar to most, cobblers, except for the Jack Daniels part, right? Don't worry, it's gonna cook down. So yes. Thanksgiving is here. The turkey's gonna be a little wild. It's gonna be a little wild. My best friend and I are gonna do it. It's gonna be good though. I mean, like, honestly, you just have to monitor a turkey, and you have to just like put it in the oven, like, and just keep basting it and basting it again and basting, and then it comes out. People are so impressed. I mean, and really, it's like, I don't know. I feel like the oven does all the work. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, your turkey's so amazing." I'm like, what's the oven? No, but it is really fun. I love Thanksgiving. I always think of my mom, I think of my grandma, I think of my aunt, my cousins, my family. Such a good holiday, right? Those memories are never gonna go anywhere. Oh. All right, guys. So here are my apples. I already have those peeled. Like I said, make sure you have your trash can handy. This probably looks like more than 8 apples. I think I'm gonna stop here, or I mean, more than 8 cups. So let's see. So I do follow the recipe, so I am gonna be reading a little bit of this as I talk to you guys. So the oven is preheated at 375. In a large bowl, add in your apples, bourbon, sugar, cornstarch, cinnamon. So let's see. 6 to 8 cups of apples. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. So that's gonna be good. This amount is good. I always just like measure it out just in case. So here we have the bourbon. The bourbon is gonna be 1/4 cup. Right, guys, so measure out whatever bourbon you want. I'm using Jack Daniel's. Awesome. Maybe I'll put a little bit more in, just for some fun. All right. So that's the bourbon. Okay. 1/4 cup of sugar. Like I said, guys, I am using organic sugar. I don't know. It's like so hard to like to avoid it. Like, I mean, I know there's other types of sugar. Mine's organic. I'm not gonna eat the whole dish. I'll probably just have a bite or two. I don't know. I'm not feeling so guilty. Okay, sugar, cornstarch, 2 tablespoons. Okay, so here is my cornstarch. Okay, awesome. Cornstarch is so good for so many things. It's like a thickener, right? I use this for my gravy, actually. You're gonna see me make gravy on Thanksgiving. I was always mesmerized by gravy, right? My grandma, my aunt, they used to sit there whisking. Everybody used to stand there and stare. And it was like this, like, gravy was just like unbelievable. I don't use wheat flour for gravy. I use cornstarch, and mine comes out just as good. And this is non-GMO, guys, not genetically modified, which is great. Okay, so cornstarch, and then cinnamon. How much cinnamon am I doing here? 1 teaspoon. Okay. Awesome. 1 teaspoon, and then you're going to mix this and set aside. Awesome. So let me grab a spoon. You guys, when this is cooking, it's very similar to cranberry sauce. All right? It's like the way that it smells is so good. And don't worry, the Jack Daniel's cooks down. My kids love this. It's so good. I can smell that Jack. All right. Reminds me of like my bartending days. Smelling all that alcohol. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's good. We set this aside. Now we're going to prepare the dumplings. I'm going to use this bowl. So we're going to sift together the flour. So how much flour? 1.5 cups of flour. Again, I'm using gluten-free flour. I'm sure that you guys could go ahead and, you know, use whatever type of flour you want. I'm using gluten-free because it's better, it tastes better. So, okay, flour, half a cup of sugar, again with the sugar. Oh, I feel so bad, but at least it's organic, right? Sometimes you just have to use it. Like I said, I tried to make this recipe many, many times with other types of sugars, and it just did not work out. So this is half a cup of sugar, baking powder. Okay, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's this one, again, non-GMO. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Good. Let's see, and salt. Here we go for the salt. Half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, good. Awesome, half a teaspoon of salt. I just realized my cup is right in the middle, sorry. Half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. Now, and then you're gonna sift this together. I honestly just like stir it. I don't even know. I don't know if I even have like a sifter. Do you guys know what a sifter is? I mean, who has time for a sifter? I just sift with my hands. Sift, sift. Okay, there's that. And one of the main things is now we're going to put the butter, 12 tablespoons of butter, about 1.5 sticks. And you have to cut this butter into bite-sized pieces, okay? And the main thing is that it's cold. You don't want soft butter because it's not gonna make like the breadcrumb topping the way that you want it to be. It's not gonna come out right. Awesome. My butter is organic, so that's always good. You wanna make sure and try to get as clean of ingredients as possible. Right, guys? So see, I kind of just like cut my butter up into like little chunks. And then we're gonna put this into that flour mixture. I'm not really a big baker, right? Like we don't really eat that many sweets in my house, or it's not like I'm always, my kids like sweets, you know, because they're kids, but I guess I don't, you know, provide so many sweets. I don't cook so many sweets in my house. I don't know, I just don't. But this is a special occasion. Okay, guys, so you're just going to drop in the butter and then like mix it around. This is honestly like the best part. Like everything out of this dish tastes so good. I'll never forget my my mother-in-law, you know, God love her, right? I remember when I made this one year and I brought it and I was like so proud. I was like so happy that I made this. She's like, yeah, it's good. It's really good. And she's like, ah, it was the dish. It was the dish that made it good. I'm like, what? Come again? The dish? Really? So this thing right here, is what made this good? I don't know. I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. Every year I make this, I put so much love into it. Even though it's not my 100% recipe, I mean, come on. She has to give me a little credit, that woman. That's okay. Deuces. All right. So, okay, so I put the butter inside the flour. So it's like a breadcrumb like texture, right? Like it's broken up into little chunks, but it's covered. And now I'm pouring in the cream. How much heavy cream? We're going to do 3/4 of a cup. Awesome. So here's my heavy cream. Okay, measure it out. Awesome, there we go. So you pour this in, and you're not supposed to like overwork it, meaning like don't make it too like mushy. Just kind of like coat the pieces of butter. Okay. Awesome. So we did that. I'm definitely gonna have to wash my hands, but this is just sometimes like the way I do it, like with your hands. Do you guys bake with your hands? I feel like, I don't know. I do. All right, don't overwork. You don't want it to be sticky. Okay, so cool. So see, now it looks like this when that heavy cream went in there. All right, and we're gonna turn on our skillet, okay? I have a skillet ready to go, medium heat. And we're going to put the other remainder 4 tablespoons of the butter inside, and we're going to melt that. And then we're gonna throw in our apple mixture because we wanna make sure that this, you know, gets like nice and, there's no other word for it, nice and like gooey. It's like you wanna make sure, like, you know, that cornstarch, it starts to get like that sticky like film, which is awesome because that helps, I don't know, that helps it cook. And then after that, we're just melting the butter for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna drop this amazing dough on top of it. We're gonna brush the top with some heavy cream, sugar, and cinnamon, and then you're done. It does take 40 to 45 minutes to cook. All right, guys, I'm gonna wash my hands. Awesome, guys, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like my channel. I'm already thinking about like what I'm gonna do next. Like I'm thinking about like New Year's resolutions. I'm thinking about all types of things, more things to cook, more things to show you guys. I am excited. All right, so the butter is melting. I'm gonna drop in the apples. And then whenever I do bake, I don't know, this has happened to me like a few times. Whenever I do bake, I always put like a pan. I put a baking pan underneath my dish because like mine always explodes out of the dish, and I'm telling you, it starts smoking in the oven and that's not good. So yeah, baking pan, dish. So that way you don't have to worry too much about that. All right, guys, so the butter is melting. I'm gonna throw in my apples. Awesome. Like I said, the way this smells, guys, is so good. Oh my gosh. And it's really important to get all of those flavors together and mixed in. Yeah, it's important to get those flavors together and mixed in. And it does help to use like a variety of apples. I feel like that's important. Yeah. I think I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. Yeah. So this is, what else do I have to do? Just brush the top with heavy cream, sprinkle some sugar and cinnamon, and that's it. Yeah. This is awesome. My kids love it. Joseph loves it. And don't worry, it's gonna be a 2-part series. I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and stare for 45 minutes. All right, so let's check these apples out. Okay. Very good. You can do a gluten-free, dairy-free version of this. You can. I used to, and it was so good. I did it for my late husband because he was sensitive to gluten and dairy. So I had like a heavy cream substitute. I had a butter substitute. Again, I was using the gluten-free flour, which was awesome. And it was still good. It was still good. Like, it didn't taste like 100% like the same way, but it was still really good. So, yeah. my gosh, it smells so amazing, guys. I'm telling you. Oh, I'm telling you. So I hope you guys are excited for Thanksgiving. Right? I know we are. I mean, like, what do you guys do on Thanksgiving? Like, everybody just eats and you sit around and you talk and then you just, like, I don't know, you think about Christmas and how much stuff you have to do. I don't know. Maybe people decorate for Christmas on Thanksgiving. We used to, in my family, we had a tradition. We would put our names in like a hat and then we would draw names and then you would get whoever's name you got, you would get them like a stocking full of stuff. I'll never forget that. I think that was like my aunt's tradition. It was always so fun. And one year I lost, this is when I was little, I lost this amazing candy cane full of chapstick, like all different colors. I was like a little girl. It was like the best thing ever. I will never forget that. Like, I still want that Lip Smackers chapstick to this day. I'm still like, where is that chapstick? All right, guys, so let's look at these apples. Yes, see? Awesome. So this is exactly what you want. You want it to get like gelatinous, right? Sorry, I'll show you. I'll make it better. It's kind of making like a nice thick coating on those apples, which is what you want. Just a few more seconds. You want them to cook down just like a tiny bit. Yeah, so that's what we did. Like, we ate, we laughed, we talked about Christmas and how stressed out we were, you know, trying to prepare for everything. And then we drew names and then, you know, you gave the stocking to, you know, the person that you got on Christmas, and it was like really fun. It was like, oh my gosh, you got me. And then you know, kind of saw how they filled your stocking. It was good. Good times. Right? All right, guys. So let's put the apples in the dish. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Okay, these look amazing. It smells amazing. And you can use any bourbon you want, right? It doesn't have to be Jack Daniels. I'm sure there's other bourbons. I think one year, actually that's right. One year I used like a darker bourbon, and then one year, or no, the same year I made 2 cobblers. My best friend's mom came from Korea and I did a brown bourbon and then I did a white bourbon. Oh my gosh. And you could definitely tell the difference. You know, certain people liked certain ones. So that's something to think about. Alrighty, guys. Look at those amazing apples. Awesome, so those are in. Now I'm going to drop the dough on top. Okay, easy peasy. Like I said, I put a sheet pan underneath. Okay, very good. And then, of course, to make this dish even crazier, we're gonna add a little bit more sugar and a little bit more heavy cream on the top. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna dust. I don't have a duster. I'm just gonna like lightly sprinkle heavy cream on top. Not a ton, just a little bit. If you put too much, it's gonna come out like pudding. So I only put like a tiny bit. A tiny bit of sugar. Yeah, I'm not even putting that much sugar. Oh, I just think about how bad it is, but whatever. Oh, just a little bit, just a little bit. All right, and then the cinnamon, which is amazing. Okay, you sprinkle the cinnamon. Awesome. So let me make sure I did that right. Top with heavy creams, cinnamon, sugar, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so 40 to 45 minutes. Fabulous, guys, right? So that is that. All right. So there we go, guys. That was, I know you can't see my face, sorry. That was bourbon apple cobbler, okay? So I'm gonna show you the finished product in 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, and it's gonna be amazing and so good. Yeah, so happy Thanksgiving. The next item on the agenda is going to be the 20-pound turkey. I follow Martha Stewart's recipe, like hands down, it's the best recipe. It's so simple. It's not complicated. I mean, it kind of is, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, but it's not that complicated. But, you know, she has like this like timeless, like simple elegance that, you know, like you just can't beat Martha Stewart. Like, I love you, girl. Okay, so I'll be back again with the finishing touches on the apple cobbler. All right, guys, have a good night.